I don't think it's really a secret that I consider my favorite game of all time to be Persona 4 Golden. Many people within my friend groups, mutuals on Twitter, and even many of you who are part of the community Discord server know this quite well, as I kinda have this problem of talking too much. And honestly, this isn't me trying to be a boomer, say older games in a franchise is better than the new ones just coming out. It's not about that at all. In all honesty, I'll come out and say this now at the beginning of the video. I honestly feel everything about Persona 5 is better than Persona 4 Golden besides the story and characters. And obviously this goes for social links as well, but we'll get to that. Though I did want to explain, I know I said this before in the Chrono Trigger video, but I want to reiterate it here as it's honestly more prevalent for this topic. I'm personally the kind of person who puts story, characters, and world building over gameplay. I know that's a pretty uncommon opinion and may even invalidate me in some of your eyes, honestly, but one, this isn't a review, and that's not what I'm aimed to do on this channel. And two, even though those things are more important to me than gameplay, doesn't mean I'm incapable of analyzing, critiquing, and overall expressing what's good and bad about the gameplay of a video game in an articulate manner. I personally just find stories and characters the most memorable aspect of a video game over the actual gameplay. But now that I've established that, allow me to talk to you about why Persona 4 Golden is the best video game I've ever played. Okay, so I know I may say Persona 4 Golden is my favorite game, however that's not entirely accurate. I honestly find that I can't actually rank my top 3 favorite games, as honestly their placements can change on a whim depending on the day of the week. So now that I've covered my sin, let's move on to why this game is so phenomenal, especially not only in comparison to the other games in its franchise, but to other games in its genre, and that the characters, and I cannot stress this enough, I don't care if you need to watch a Let's Play, there's a great one by Nico B, I'll have linked below, or if you just need to play this game for yourself to see, but the characters in this game are phenomenal. And I don't want to leave it off on arbitrary reasons like good writing or something, which of course they do have, but it's what the writing consists of and contains that really makes this game memorable and what makes me care about these people so much. Because say, unlike other games where the main story can consist of the main characters having their problems introduced and subsequently throughout the story, they overcome their problems and move past them. Persona 4 Golden isn't entirely like that. And I know saying that may sound strange, but it's a lot better and more natural than you think. I know we as humans naturally grow, it's what we do, but I feel most RPGs accelerate that growth at the rate of the story, causing in retrospect the characterization to feel unnatural. The way Golden handles this is how, in accordance with the story, people are getting kidnapped and then shortly thereafter being murdered in the town of Inaba. Our main character's goal is to find those getting kidnapped and rescue them before they're killed. And of course, alongside finding out who's behind all these kidnappings in the first place. And for those who may have lived under a rock, personas in this series are the physical manifestations of one's true self. So you could, in a way, say they're your feelings given a physical body. But the way these personas are granted to our main cast is very unique. Generally, those who are kidnapped in this story will become a party member at some point in time. And the main reason behind this is that when kidnapped and thrown inside the mysterious world of TVs, evil beings known as shadows lurk around, always on the hunt. And while the person is kidnapped and thrown inside this TV world, they're at the mercy of these shadows, but worst of all, their own shadow. You see, in this world, the emotions of people can be made manifest as a shadow or a persona, and generally negative emotions within can cause the emergence of your shadow, and this shadow will constantly spout out your deepest and darkest secrets at you and to those who can hear. And what makes this so powerful is generally the main cast is there inside the TV to save the kidnapped person, and they're just there to witness all those horrible things that this person is actually feeling. Of course, as humans, when we have those kinds of thoughts we know we shouldn't, or things we never actually say out loud, we tend to deny that's how we actually feel, or that we're a person who'd say or even feel those things, especially if there are people watching, even more so when you may not even know them that well. But doing so just pushes the shadow into kill on sight mode. The more you deny your true feelings, the stronger and more deadly the shadow becomes. So in this game, you often have to fight your friends' darkness and see the absolute worst things about them. And this is where the game's characters are so well done to me. The power to forgive, the power of understanding, and the power of acceptance. These things may not sound like much, but they truly can save lives. The main characters have shown to each other individually that they understand these horrible feelings you have and tell you it's okay, and that they understand and they'll accept you regardless. And this statement may sound moderately impactful without context, but providing some is, say, Naoto for instance. Naoto is someone who gets kidnapped later into the game. They're a high school detective prodigy. In fact, they were only kidnapped because they allowed themselves to be so they can find out more about the culprit. But then you find out more about them. Naoto, though, despite everyone thinking and being told differently, is actually a woman, but she hates that part of herself. It isn't along the lines of because they don't like being a woman in general, or they think they're a boy in a woman's body. It's nowhere near anything complex like that on the surface. Naoto feels that no matter what amount of skill she has in her craft, she lives in a male-dominated society, so she may not be able to go as far in life or even be taken as seriously because she's a woman. She feels it shouldn't matter what gender she is, only that her skills would prove useful to keeping society safe. So that's why she ended up coming to Inaba and then masquerading the majority of this game as a boy, because she felt no one would ever take her seriously as a detective if they knew she was a woman. And that is just heartbreaking to me. Even more so because I know there are women in real life who go through this kind of struggle every day. The main cast taught her to be comfortable in her own body. She likes being a girl, so she shouldn't have to be afraid to show that alongside her skills as a detective. She has no plan on limiting her growth as a detective, so she aims to be so good that she'll show the world it doesn't matter whether she's a woman or a man, and all her skills will do the talking. This acceptance of herself rang true in her heart and transformed her shadow into her persona. If you're watching this and you've ever felt a way similar to Naoto, man, woman, or whatever you identify as, please listen to Naoto's story and follow in her footsteps as the inspiration she is. Now, I know that was an overly long explanation, but we're talking about one of the best games ever made here. I'm not going to hold back on things I want to say. Another character I really want to highlight here is Rise Kujikawa, another fantastic character in this game. Rise, of course, like most of our main cast, was also kidnapped, and while within the TV world, also had her shadow revealed. However, her situation was quite different from Naoto's. You see, Rise is actually an idol, so she's widely known all over the country and more as her stage name, Reset. But that in itself has taken its toll on her. You see, Rise is just a high school girl. Her entrance into this story is her quitting being an idol and going back to Inaba as it's her hometown, hence how she meets our main cast. But the thing about Rise is that as an idol, or rather a celebrity, you constantly have to put up a facade and play the character you were hired to be. And honestly, that can be extremely draining when that person you masquerade as is wildly different than the real you. It made Rise start questioning, do these people love me or Reset? It got so bad to the point Rise started thinking she has no individuality, as she feels she has no real self due to constantly having to play the role of someone she's not. Throughout the game and her social link though, coming to terms with herself and overcoming her life's hardships gains her persona. She realized that Reset and Rise aren't two separate people at all at the end of the day, and that all of this is her. They were just sides of herself she didn't know she had, and that really scared her, which leads her to finally decide that she will be going back to being an idol, but being her true self and showing the world every aspect of who she is. Not only does this speak so loudly to me, as I feel as a content creator, even I get caught up in being the person who people want me to be versus the person I feel I am. Because as Rise learned, these are all just different angles of me. But I also feel this screams to even those who just feel like regular old people. No matter what, as humans, we switch up how we act around different people in life for a variety of different reasons. We just need to understand and never forget, just because you put on another face in life doesn't mean that that other mask you wear doesn't also belong to you. And we have to learn and accept ourselves for who we are, regardless of how that might be. And if you're not happy with who that true person is, we're human. We're capable of growth. If you're dissatisfied with who you are, then work to change it. Learn, grow. And that's what I believe Rise Kujikawa's story is trying to teach us. And the best part is, These are only 2 of amazing life lessons told through this fantastic story, some of which I know others who have played this game may even say are even better than these. I think these arcs of this game are very important, not only in conveying a message to the player, as they gotta get something out of this 100-hour adventure, right? But also because it makes you a part of this world. I've never seen character and world building to this extent before in a video game. Even in comparison to the other games in my top 3 games. It goes even further that, of course, they accept these facts about themselves, and that's how they gain their personas. But that in itself does not mean that they immediately recover from these issues. Even by the end of the game, they can still be dealing with thinking things they shouldn't or being tempted to do the wrong things. Not in a sense to where it feels like they're not having adequate character progression, but in a way for it to feel natural and realistic, as no one gets over their bad habits immediately. It takes time to break those things, and honestly, this aspect of them feels so refreshing. And I think this is exactly how the writers wanted us to feel, especially when Yu Narukami is the subject. Yu Narukami is just the canon name for the protagonist of Persona 4 Golden. You may also know him as the one true Chad, the manliest man alive, or as simply the Kingpin. But here's where I go into the importance of why Narukami is a silent protagonist. While I know all Persona characters are relatively silent protagonists, but the way this specific story is written, it forces the player to overwrite themselves onto Narukami, to where it doesn't matter what you named him at the beginning of the game, because before you know it, you won't be thinking that these people you meet are this character's friends, but they're mine. Kanji is my homie. Yosuke is my best friend. And if you choose to get into a special relationship with someone, that's someone who genuinely feels special to you because of the events and holidays you get to spend with them. I mean, you could also just be an awful human being and date everyone because you don't know the definition of loyalty. Haha, yeah. What a monster, am I right? Look, don't judge me. It's just really freaking hard to choose, alright? All of these characters are just so freaking cute and I can't help it. I know I haven't really gone into it much, presumably because it just shows how much more important characters are to me over story, but I'd like to talk about it in some capacity at least. The story here is quite good, even on concept alone. It being a murder mystery, except multiple people have died, and kidnappings are consistently happening. It honestly forges a sense of bond you have with these friends you've gathered, mainly due to the secrets you all share with one another. But also when becoming friends, everyone practically sees each other's deepest, darkest sides of themselves, and being accepted by people despite all that makes you feel attached to them. And honestly, that goes for the characters in-game and the player. Through the game, you've got to gather evidence and use the mysterious Midnight Channel and try to predict who will be kidnapped. Even though you're often unsuccessful, you still have time to save them before they're actually killed inside the TV by their shadow. However, being able to manage keeping your grades up, your relationships with your friends strong, which in turn makes them stronger and more reliable in battle, alongside bettering your own social stats and improving you, all of these things just add up into making this world not feel like a video game, but another world you just happen to be a part. But yeah, if it's not obvious by now, I really love Persona 4 Golden. I think it's the best in the series by far. However, primarily because it does what it seeks out to do the best, and not necessarily because everything about it is better than what's in the other games. But there are so many reasons to love this game, and I hope through this video, you all will be able to feel the love I have for this adventure, as it means so much to me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll have to get back to my workout routine. As of right now, if I squeeze my way into my TV, I doubt I'll be able to fit back out of it. Hey everyone, thanks for making it to the end. I had a ton of fun making this video. If you want more ramblings about video games, definitely leave me a like to show you're interested and subscribe with the bell notifications turned on. Also, sharing this video with a friend will level up our social link, I swear.